Welcome to the Land Your Bet Sports Betting Show. Coming back to you guys with one game on the slate in the WNBA here on Tuesday. Going to be breaking down the Lynx and the Liberty. So it's a good one here. Two of the best teams in the league running up against each other here in New York on Tuesday night. I'm recording this on Monday to get ahead of everything for you guys. So definitely make sure to subscribe to that page, like the video and all that good stuff. Super helpful. And you'll continue to get the alerts for these videos that come out the night before with the picks and projections. I'm also going to be running a live stream this week, the first time with Modi, going back into the WNBA on Thursday there with a nice slate. Everything running on the bottom line for you guys. You can see the schedule for the week. I'm going to get into the show record and get right into these picks for Tuesday. Quick reminder, if you don't yet have Outlier, you definitely want to jump into the description of the video. Check out the link that I have there that gets you 7 free days. So you can go ahead and check out the platform. See if you like everything that I'm using here to make all these bets that I'm doing. As you know, we use this on the live stream as well. And then also got the free Discord, which gets these picks out a little bit earlier than the people who are only following along with the videos. Free right now. A lot of really smart people in there. Highly recommend jumping in, especially on this WNBA channel. Quick look at the record, 10 games above 500 and nearly 10 units up. So we're feeling really good about the young season here in the W. Up 9.3 units. The sides and totals continue to carry us. That's where I've been the strongest so far. Looking at 15-6, up almost 8 units alone on the sides and totals. Still looking good with the player props, up more than 3.5 units. So feeling good there. Need to find a parlay to put together though. 0-3, only -2 units there. Otherwise we'd be much higher. But feeling good about the read that we have right now on this WNBA season. Quick look at the injuries that we're looking at for both teams. Diamond Miller is going to continue to be out for the Lynx, but what's interesting is she was fully out and expected to be such for like another at least 2-3 weeks. Now she's been upgraded to doubtful, so still not very likely at all to play here or possibly even in the next week. But the fact that we're starting to see doubtful tags for her instead of just out does mean she's on her way back. Courtney Vandersloot should be back, but she's still questionable now after not playing for about 8 days because of the passing of her mother. She is still a little bit questionable with conditioning. And then you've got Lainey Hamilton, once again questionable, has now missed 3 games in a row. And Nyara Sabali is officially out for this one on Tuesday night. So there are a bit more injuries coming here for the Liberty. As you'll see, that does mean the Lynx have a little bit of an edge there with basically at full strength. Looking at the head-to-head matchup between both these squads, both really good at a lot of stuff here. You can see the Lynx rely a little bit more on defense. They do have the best defensive rating in the league now, taking that crown from the Connecticut Sun. And the offensive rating is still really good too, actually better than the Sun. They have the 3rd best offensive rating, thanks in large part to their ability to hit a lot of threes, which is what the Liberty also want to do. They have the best offensive rating, continue to actually go up in that offensive rating after another high 90s score for them in this last win against the Sparks. The D rating also still good for the Liberty, just not quite as good as the Lynx, and we'll dive into that a little bit more, but still 4th best in the league. They do play a lot faster than this Lynx squad as well, so it's a little bit of a battle of opposing forces, right? You've got the slow, defensive-minded Lynx going up against the faster, much more offensive-minded Liberty here in New York. And I will say the Lynx beat this team by like 30 in the first game of the season that they played. It was a beatdown, essentially, a pretty surprising one against the Liberty early on. They'll definitely be looking to get a little bit of a revenge now that they're back in their home building as well. And they have a massive advantage on the rebounds. So you can see 10th best rebound percentage for the Lynx, makes them bottom 3 in the league. Liberty 2nd best rebound percentage in the league. So they've definitely got an edge down there. They just missed a ton of shots, to be honest, the last time that these teams played, which is why they got out-rebounded so heavily. And then both of them are very good shooting teams because they shoot so many threes. You see a pretty high effective field goal percentage for both these squads. So that's going to be a big key here, is who defends the three-point line better and who makes more of their threes. Looking at how the Liberty offense matches up with this Lynx defense, 3 most important categories for any defense trying to limit this Liberty offense is going to be how well do you defend the fast break and how well do you defend the three-point line. You can see the Lynx do both very well. They allow the 3rd fewest opponent fast break points per game to this Liberty squad who wants to get out and run, 2nd most fast break points on the season. And then from 3, you see them taking the most shots from deep and making the most for the Liberty. So still a very efficient and a very, very high volume 3-point shooting team. For the Lynx, they do want to limit your threes, but they also, and 5th best, still good. It's somewhat middle of the pack, but still good. It's more about the shutting down shooters, closing out space really quickly, leading to the 2nd fewest threes made against them on the season. I mean, with threes, a lot of times you can see an opponent's 3-point percentage have a little bit to do with variance. You have to kind of hope that the other team doesn't make their shots, but the Lynx do a good job enough of shutting down even the attempts for a team like the Liberty that they should be able to close things down. If they can limit drivers once they get to the rim, then they'll be in good shape. They don't have a very good paint defense, though, so that could be the place that the Liberty are able to get a few buckets off of them. On the other side of the ball, really similar actually, but the first thing I want to point out on top of the threes here, which we already went over the fact that the Lynx also want to shoot a ton of threes, points off of turnovers. And that is going to be something that if the Liberty do not take care of the ball, they're going to be in trouble because this Lynx team turns these turnovers into points very, very well. And the Liberty, although they have the 8th, which is 5th worst turnover percentage in the league, they are a little bit better in terms of limiting the points that they give up off of the turnovers. 6th fewest points off of turnovers that they give up, as opposed to 8th worst turnover percentage. So they're doing a decent job of getting back. However, the other place they're not as good on D as the Lynx are is in the opposing threes made and attempted category here. 8th most threes that they give up, which is 5th most, I should say, and then the 6th most 3-pointers that they allow as well to their opponent. So that could continue to be a problem if they're not able to defend the 3-point line. In addition to giving up easy buckets off of turnovers, that would be where I would say the downfall for this Lynx team is really going to occur. Which brings us to the first bet. I think 5.5 points might just be too many, man. I took this for a full unit, Minnesota plus 5.5, minus 115 on MGM. So this is getting bet towards Minnesota. I do think that some people getting up on the early WNBA lines here on Monday are in agreement with what I'm saying here. And the key, once again, turnover battle, 3-point battle. And Minnesota does have a bit of an advantage on both sides, especially when you consider how much they are able to force turnovers and turn those into points, as well as how much better they are at defending the 3-point line than the Liberty. The Liberty might be a very good 3-point shooting team. They're best in the league. They're playing the second best team and the best 3-point defense. That is going to be a problem for them if they are not able to get open shots. Both of these teams actually also limit assists pretty well, and they both want to get assists as well. So it's going to be pretty important that Minnesota, number 1, limiting assists, both teams in the top 2 in terms of compiling assists. The Liberty, 6th best at limiting assists. So they're a little bit worse in that category as well. That's why I think the Lynx will be finding a few easier buckets than the Liberty in this one. And they are at full strength, whereas there's a couple gals that might be out in this one for the Liberty, as we know that we talked about from the top. Courtney Vandersloot going to be a big one as well, because if she's not in, then we're looking at some more Breanna points and assists is definitely where I'd be leaning for her if Vandersloot is unable to go. To be honest, even if Vandersloot is able to go, still kind of like Breanna a little bit more, because she's going to need to get her conditioning back before she's able to play the normal amount of minutes. Talking about CVS Courtney Vandersloot there. So keep all that in mind. Those are leans for now, but if you do jump in the Discord, you'll see what the final plays are for sure on top of this side bet here. A couple more plays for you, though. I do have Napheesa Collier going over on the rebounds and assists. I really like the assists at 3.5, and like I said, that's actually plus money, so probably going to look at putting a little half unit on that. That will be in the Discord as well, but I don't mind adding the rebounds at all for her. She's on a really bad rebounding team, as we talked about, 3rd worst rebounding team in the league for the Lynx in terms of rebound percentage, but they need her to do it. So it's just going to be what she continues to have to do, because she is their best option to pull down a lot of these defensive boards, especially for the Lynx, who give up some second chance points here and there. That could be a problem, although the Liberty not really scoring off of that. Either way, Napheesa is going to be out there doing her thing in terms of orchestrating the offense, and heavily from the wing, but also going to be able to drive in, probably hit some teardrops like she's able to do, and some runners into the lane as well. But more importantly, when she's driving, if they do collapse on her, which they did try to do in the last game that they played, which led to a few more assists for Napheesa and definitely the boards. If they do collapse on her and she kicks it out, once again, best assist team, best 3-point shooting team second best 3-point shooting team in the league for Minnesota. So that should be a part of the game plan for them, allowing her to get those assists. And then once she passes the ball off after she's driving into the lane, which she does so frequently, now we're talking about her being in position to get offensive rebounds as well. So I like her as a facilitator and a rebounder in this game. I'm sure she's going to get some points. I project her closer to like 16 or 17. They have her up at about 18.5 points. Seems a little bit high, but we'll go with the rebounds and assists here because of how heavily I think they're going to rely on her and how much the Liberty are going to collapse on Collier when she drives to the bucket. And the last play here is a lean that I haven't been able to bring myself to get to for a couple of reasons yet. So it's still a lean for Stewie to go under 29.5 points and rebounds here. It's minus 125 for the under. The over is much better. It's minus 104. So a lot more juice there if you want to take the over. Here's where I'm at, though. First of all, I think this is going to go up a little bit more. I think people are going to bet the over on Stewie, especially after seeing her go over against this team the last time they played. She is under in 11 of 18 games this season, but she's averaging about 29.5 points and rebounds, slightly fewer, but about that, because she has some really, really big spike games that really sort of inflate those averages. And I think that's a big reason why sometimes she gets the public is betting on her overs, which helps us take the under, which is why I'm waiting for a few more bets to come in here, especially from the public on the under for on the over for Stewie, which will give us better odds on the under for her, right? As everybody starts betting on the over, that makes it more valuable to bet on the under. So we're going to wait to see if that happens. If not, okay, I don't love it at minus 125. I'd love to get this much closer to minus 110 before I feel comfortable taking it under 29.5. The reason that I don't like it's not like a guarantee for me or anything that I feel as confident right this second on the under. If you look at where the Minnesota Lynx are the most vulnerable on defense, it's a lot of what Stewie wants to do. It's paint points for sure. It's especially paint points before you get inside of 5 feet. So sort of the extended paint for Minnesota, that's where they're the weakest, and in the paint in general. And that's where Stewie's scoring the majority of her points from. And about 70% of them are coming from the paint for Breanna Stewart this season. Had decent job shooting for sure, but we've seen her go to the bucket a lot more and usually able to finish. So I don't really trust her to be able to do this in this capacity at such a high number. 29.5, very high for her, something she's done fewer than 50% of the time. As you can see there, 11 of the 18 she's actually gone under in this number right here. At the same time, this is a team that she might be able to have a bit more success if she's able to drive into the lane and hit a few of those floaters and get all the way to the bucket. Then she's going to be in position to get some decent amount of points. We'll see how that goes. I still prefer an under for her in this game. If you do jump in the Discord, though, that's where you'll get the final plays. And that is all the time that I have for you in this one. Go ahead and subscribe to that page. Definitely check out the description of the video. It's got the links that you need in there for outlier.bet. Also got the link to the Discord in there in case you want to jump in the free Discord. That's where we're getting a lot of great looks from a lot of great people. Got about 4 or 5 people with their own channel nowadays as well. A lot of them talking about the WNBA right now, which is really helpful for me because I'm getting some great looks from them that help me sort of give me a lead right into where I want to look for. So these are my plays right now. Going to add at least one more, I would imagine, before tomorrow's game tips off between these two power squads. So definitely jump into Discord, subscribe to the page so you don't miss anything else. Jump in the comments. Let me know what you guys are betting on. Love hearing how many people are into the WNBA this season. Seems like we're on a big come up. So until I talk to y'all next, happy betting.